Welcome, everyone, to another podcast. Wow, it's like 36 degrees. Summer's not even here yet. But and to your right and to, wherever, whenever you're looking at this, we have a gentleman here by the name of Ken Armstrong, or goes by Casey Armstrong. And he's been a prominent figure in Canadian music scene for years, performing in bars and festivals as both an opening act and headliner, which is interesting. Anybody knows what a headliner is? Now, his band has been numerous lineup changes, allowing KC to collaborate with many talented musicians. A memorable highlight was when Jeff Healey, we know who Jeff Healey is, joined his band for an impromptu jam session in Lindsay, Ontario, creating a magical night that extended well past closing time. In 2003, Ken's band filled in as a Hawks for Ronnie Hawkins, leading to a month of rehearsals for a major concert in Toronto, although it was ultimately canceled due to Hawkins' health issues. Ken Armstrong's passion for video production has grown, leading to a creation of his own YouTube channel with over 7,500 views. In his first
Actually,
recording
sorry,
studio,
sorry, Chris,
probably
it's over 12,000.
it's probably more,
Yeah,
12,000 views, everyone,
yeah.
within a matter of seconds from 7,500 to 12,000. His first recording studio experience came from winning a Battle of the Bands contest, which ignited his love for studio work. He has since co-produced albums and ventured into country music, producing his own album, Ranchsongs. And in 2005, Casey builds his own recording studio, Deerpark Studios, where he has recorded 28 songs, resulting in a three-album set. Casey continues to focus on self-promotion, preparing for the festival season. And can't believe that we have him on our show, Ken Armstrong, everyone. Welcome, Ken. How are you?
I'm fine, Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here. So happy that we were able to get this scheduled, and boom, here we are.
My
I want
pleasure.
to ask you, let's go back to the beginning. So, what inspired you to start a career in music?
The Beatles. I'm considerably older than I might appear to you, and I can recall
Wow.
seeing them one momentous occasion, 1964, on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I was 4 years old, sitting on my living room floor in my pajamas with the little feet in them and watching, just jaw dropping. And my dad and mom were just over the moon watching them. They enjoyed it so much, and I don't think I've ever thought about doing anything else since.
You look good for your age, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I'm I'm
Welcome.
uh, I am one small month away from being 65.
Wow, awesome. Well, I know that your musical influences are the Beatles, but are there any of L's biggest musical influences as well?
Well, a lot along the way. Um, we went through a stage in the 70s where we listened to nothing but Southern rock, and that's when we started playing in bands. We were listening to a lot of that. Ginger Baker, Cream, Eric Clapton, and Jack Bruce. A lot of that. Grew up in Canada, so Rush was always a mainstay. Love those. Still like those guys to this day. Amazing band. Um, Lighthouse,
Mm-hmm.
band Lighthouse. Love those guys when they were. And I don't know. It's just so many different ones. I'm really fond of Van Morrison and really sort of soaked him in the last few years a lot.
So, what did you think of Burton Cummings and all of them?
The Guess Who? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that was a mainstay of Canadian AM radio when I was growing up. Knew every song and loved the band. A lot of people say I sound a bit like Burton when I sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of hinted that when I kind of listened to it. I'm like, that sounds familiar. So did you ever? I guess did you ever want to go to Woodstock, or you think you were too young back then?
Oh, I was definitely too young. When was that? 67?
Yeah, 67, 68.
Yeah, I would have been 7 or 8 years old, so way too young. But I was hearing about it on the TV and paying close attention. I mean, there's a lot of big things happening in those years, weren't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Kennedy assassination, the moon landing, Team Canada, all those things just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Um, remember Melanie who sang the brand new Key song? I almost had her on the podcast, but apparently what happened is that before I was even able to book her, she kind of passed away. So I was kind of
Oh,
sad about that. But yeah,
oh, that's too bad.
but but yeah, I'm actually when I heard that you had sung with Jeff Healey, can you describe to us the experience of playing with him?
Certainly. So this was fairly interesting. We're playing in a little hole in the wall club called the Irish House, just off Main Street in Lindsay, Ontario. I don't know if it's around anymore, but it was at the time. This was the mid 80s. I think Roadhouse had already come out, so everybody knew who he was, including ourselves. We're coming out third set. I look out in the crowd, and there's Jeff Healey sitting there at a table.
Wow.
Well, I told the band, I said to the band, don't anybody approach him. I don't want to come off as schmarmy, that's, like fawning and bugging the guy. He probably just wants a night out to himself. So
Hmm.
he sat and he listened to us play for an hour for our next set. And I couldn't believe it. I was watching, he was tapping his toes and tapping his beer bottle and stuff, and he stuck around. So that was great. But I still told everybody I
Wow.
didn't approach him in between sets or anything. Not a word. But my wife at the time is not nearly as backward as I am and never listened to a word I said. So we're just playing our first song of the last set, and I notice her leading him up to the stage.
Hmm.
So we shut down immediately. My guitar player vacated quickly and allowed him to, and they brought a chair up on stage and they allowed him to sit in. And I'm going to tell you, it was really interesting. He never really did anything to the guitar settings, didn't turn around and mess with the amp or anything. He just took the guitar, sat it in his lap, and started playing the first song. And immediately it was identifiable as Jeff Healey. You could just tell it was all in
Wow.
the fingers. And
Wow.
we just played classic rock classics, Born to Be Wild and All Right Now and all just, the stuff that we would all know in general. I tried to get him to sing. He wouldn't do it. He didn't want to sing. He just wanted to play. We played for the whole set. We were supposed to be done at 1 o'clock because back then that was the closing time for bars. Well, about quarter two, the owner comes up and makes an announcement. He said, anybody that wants last call, order it up now. We're going to lock the doors and we're just going to keep going as long as we want to. And
Wow.
we went till 1:30, quarter to two, something like that. It was quite a long time anyways. Finally, the girl he was with come up and you could tell she was getting impatient. She hauled him out of there and that was the end of the night.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Did you
kind of
have
neat.
like a lasting friendship with him?
No, no. Honestly, other than the few short words, this is in the key of A, and we're gonna do all right now. Do you know it? Yep. Okay. Thanks a lot, bud. Yeah, no problem. Do you want to sing it?
Wow.
No, no, you sing it. That's about the extent of our conversation.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's terrific. Now, how did it feel to have your band sub in for Ronnie Hawkins? That must be quite a story.
Well, that was another story. Now, Leah, his daughter. Well, I know Leah as well, but not nearly as well as I know Robin because Robin
Yeah.
and I were playing together. That's his son, his second son, and I happened to coincidentally been at Ronnie's house. We're recording with Robin the day all this came down. Now, Robin and I were doing a commercial, like the actually intro music for a NASCAR driver. Don't ask me who, couldn't tell you, but it was somebody that he knew, somebody from the southern states. And so we were doing that. We were recording it in the living room. And all of a sudden, Ronnie comes bursting in from the kitchen. And he's excited. Now, I knew Ronnie already because I'd already done some recording for him. Did some bass tracks for him in a local studio on another song, another project. Anyways, he didn't bother introducing. He just starts right off the top. Now, the funny thing is that CTV was there following him around from room to room because they were doing a documentary on him at the time. And the documentary was to do with him dying of cancer. They figured this was kind of going to be his last will and testament on film.
Wow.
He didn't end up dying because something strange happened. He ended up calling and contacting a young man from Vancouver, he told us later, who was a faith healer. And the faith healer somehow over the phone put his cancer in remission. Like not only put it in remission, but almost cleared it up for a while. So that was kind of neat. But anyways, CTV was there. Ronnie was there. He just come bursting in. He had been talking to one of the MPs. Don't know who it was. It was some liberal MP from Toronto who had been putting together the whole SARS concert, Downsview, which was, 400. I've heard anywhere from 400 to 600,000 people. It was a huge event. And he was excited because he had been asked to play it. So
Mm.
with right on camera, he comes bursting in. He says, I'm boys, we're going to be opening for the Rolling Stones. And he turns to me and he says, and
Wow.
Casey, and he says, and we're going to use Cadillac Ranch, which was my band at the time. He says, we're going to use them as my backup band. So we started rehearsing,
Wow.
and then we didn't make it to the show because he was having health problems, and then we had to cancel, which is probably good because I don't know that I have the nerve to get up in front of 600,000 people. I've been in front of 10,000 a few times, but 600,000 looks scary to me. I don't know if you saw the backstage shots, but it's
Mm.
incredible to see a people.
Mm. That's incredible. What was it
Yeah.
like preparing for the SARS concert in Toronto?
Well, it was a lot of rehearsal. We were there at the same room, same place, just different days, and we had to learn all his material, and we rehearsed, and then we did a warm up show at Casino Rama, and then boom, it just fell apart.
That's
So
incredible. Wow, you have
yeah.
quite a story there, quite a history. So, how did you get into video production? Can you share with us how that happened?
Well, yeah, as simple as the fact that I felt the need to have a video just to take my music into a different direction, and I thought I could probably do it. And what I do is I use stock shots and I weave them into a story. So it's like thousands of hours of editing and searching for the right
Yeah.
shots.
Wow.
Yeah, and then stringing them all together. And honestly, it's nothing. I taught myself how to do it on my wife's Mac. It's just on iMovies on my wife's Mac, and yet they come across looking great. Then all the transitions, the fades, the split screens, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I should send you some of my podcasts and you can you can edit them for me.
Oh, I certainly could. I've learned to do it. I can do picture in picture, all the things you want. Yeah.
So, what is your favorite video that you produced? That would be interesting to find that one out.
Yeah, it's called So About You. It just seems to be the perfect blend of the it just fit. It really did. The music just matches the video so well. Have you watched any of them?
I watched a few, but I like how you like your YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, let me see. Which so out of those, which one do you think is your favorite? Like number one?
So About You,
Okay,
by far.
that's number one.
Yeah, that's the one with the girl with the black wings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's incredible. Like you're really deep into this.
yeah,
This is pretty awesome.
yeah.
So, can you tell us about more about your YouTube channel?
Um, Strangely enough, folks, I could sure use a couple more people to join in and subscribe. I'm stuck at 98 subscribers. But those
Oh,
98 subscribers have really gone me a long way because, like I said, I'm over 12,000 views. So that means they've each watched it at least 100 times, or there's a lot of people that aren't subscribing that are watching.
yeah, that's not good. It took me like usually if you get 4,000 watch hours, they start paying you with ads and things, and I'm like 500 away, and it's so
Uh,
difficult. So
well, I
difficult.
have a cousin that's been helping me, and I think you'll see next album next year that things really develop.
Yeah,
He's sitting there at I don't know. He gets like 50 grand of views per thing he puts out now, and he puts out hundreds of videos.
yeah. Something having to do with the algorithm or something.
Yeah, he explained it all to me. It's all French, but I'm going to delve into it after I'm done mixing the album.
Yeah. Well, what was your first recording studio experience like? Like when you first started doing the recording, what was it like? Was it difficult? Were you sweating? Perspiration? Were you like, forget this, I don't want to do it?
No, no, I enjoyed it immensely. Um, it was kind of funny how that all developed. We lived in Peterborough, and there was a local AM station that put a contest on, like a battle of the bands. But you put two or three songs in, I think two, and they picked one of them if they liked it, and it was I think 10, maybe 15 songs on the album from local artists, and you got to
Mhm.
get one, and that meant you had a free chance to go in and record your songs in the studio. So we went to Northumberland 29. Shout out to Andy, he did a great job, and it was like a really high class recording studio that he had fashioned out of a barn. So it was kind of really neat. Um, he taught us how to work our way around the studio. We did some overdubs, and the actual product came out sounding great. I thought, still like it.
So you,
That was one of the ones that I just put on the album, but a whole different version of it. It was very 80s sounding.
yeah, do you think that if you had made one decision in your life, you wouldn't be doing music today? Or do you think music was like you were dead set even when you were born? That's what you wanted to do was music.
I think ever since I was 4, that's all I wanted to do. I was so darn excited to put the Beatles. And then by 14, we were playing on stage. By 15, we were actually opening. We opened for a band called Shooter. They had one hit in Canada, and You Know I Can't Dance. Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember that group. Wow.
Yeah. I think their original name was the Greaseball Boogie Band, but they had one hit, and they were playing our local arena, and we got to get up in front of about 800 or 900 people there, and that was exciting. Then in college, we were still playing. Actually, we started playing the bars at 17, and we were
Hmm.
going out Friday and Saturday night playing the bars, local ones, within an hour drive. All summer long, we'd play the bars, and then we'd go to school during the week. By 19, I was touring all over Canada,
Hmm.
and that means a coast to coast. And took some time off, went to college, but I never stopped really stopped playing. I've been playing ever since.
Do you think winning the Battle of the Bands contest impacted your career at all?
Well, we didn't win. We were one of 10 winners, let's say. But
Mm.
yeah, it did because it got me hooked on recording. I saw the potential there, and I started wanting to do that. And we put an album out together. Me and another guy joined album. This was um, 10 songs on that. We funded it ourselves, and that was a good little project. And then after that, I did one myself, which cost me an awful lot more money, but still didn't come out the way I wanted it to. And in fact, nothing has until I got my own studio because it's just the hours you got to put into it. And then, especially if you're nitpicky,
Hmm.
which I am.
Yeah, I always ask an artist like the what's the process of producing an album. So, what was the process of co-producing the Say Uncle album?
That's the one I was referring to. Yeah, that was neat. The guy that's playing guitar on all the songs that you're hearing now, his name is Barry Haggerty. He had his own studio, and I did Say Uncle and I did the Cadillac Ranch album in his studio. And for heaven's sakes, I learned so much. Of course, it cost me tons of money to do it, but we were learning as we went, and we had a lot of fun. We just experimented. We did neat things. It was fun. We spent hours and hours and hours doing it, and then learning to mix. And back then, there was no automated mixing, so this was fun. When we actually mixed that album, there was 3 of us involved, each with 2 hands, and we
Hmm.
had 6 hands operating dials on the mixer, and he had to stay out of other people's ways as they're flipping over to fade this in or to boost the effect
Hmm.
on this, and it was neat. It was like a ballet. If you messed up, you had to start from scratch again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was quite the process back then. But yet it sounds really good.
So, creating an album like Finely Crafted involves several key steps. So, tell me about like conceptualization. I did some research on this. Conceptualization, songwriting, composition, pre-production, recording, production, mixing, and mastering. Um, so when you created the album Finally Crafted, can you tell me what the conceptualization was about?
I don't know that it has a concept. I love concept albums. I'm from the 70s, but there's no real overriding concept. I've actually to this point have recorded 3 albums worth of material already.
Hmm.
Okay, and it's all done, except for being mixed, which is what I'm doing now. So what I did was I took 9 songs that I thought were give enough variety to be interesting, And then I took another 9 songs that I thought were interesting for the second album, the same thing for the third. And I tried to keep them balanced so one album
Mhm.
wasn't a whole lot better than another. Strong songs, weaker songs, popular songs, catchy songs, something with a little more, and I made that decision that was the 9 I was going with for that album. And I think they all kind of fit into the same thing because my genre seems to be Americana, with the exception of the Rebel. I don't know if you heard that one or not. That's the one that sounds like it's reggae. It's maybe a little different than the rest, but the rest of them all seem to fit into Americana. So,
Hmm.
and it has a flow to it, I think. I spent a lot of time meticulously going over what album order was going to be, so that they flowed, so that no song sounds like the one before it, is the same tempo, is the same key, is the same material, lyrically, anything. It's always a difference.
Would you say there's difference between songwriting and composition, or do you think that's the same thing?
I always took composition to mean more the musical end of things, like if you're writing classical music, that kind of thing. I don't know. I guess they're basically the same thing. I don't know about you, but everyone. I just watched something this today, an interview with Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, and he said you simply must start with the chords, then the melody, then the words. But if you ask Casey Armstrong, you start with the words, then the melody, then the chords, exactly backwards to him, because that's how I feel comfortable.
But that's not written in stone because I've heard people saying that they just wrote down a title and they wrote a song around it, or they went outside and said that okay, the sky is blue, nice day, the clouds. I see whatever animals. I see a squirrel. Okay, I have a song now.
Yeah,
And others have told me that they just start playing around and they say, "I like this melody. Let's put words to it."
yeah, some
So
do.
yeah.
In my humble opinion, if you start with the words are always going to be stronger. And chances are that the words might influence your melody in such a way as to make the melody more interesting as well. That's just my experience when I'm doing it.
Well, I know.
There's music I like that goes
Yeah.
either way.
So because like for instance, you have the recording and then in production, mixing and mastering, which you mentioned, and then promotion and release. Now, I wanted to ask you about the marketing, distribution, engaging with fans. You have a song called "I Don't Care"
Hmm.
and a song called "Mountain Man."
Hmm.
Um, can you share with me, like, a lot of songs and music are from experience. Are any of these, like, for instance, "The Rebel" has something to do with maybe someone you know, or are these just songs you like and you decide, okay, well, I don't care, we'll just call it "I Don't Care" Mountain Man?
They all are either some, but most of them are myself.
Hmm.
Some of them are people close to me, just an observation. There's none of them that are made up scenarios. I don't care was definitely just what it seems. I was sitting alone at home one night stewing over the fact that one of my better half was out and shouldn't have been.
Mm.
Very raw, very natural, and that's exactly what happened. Um, the Rebel, if you listen to the words, that's my reflection on COVID days, basically, and my fears of the future. Mountain Man was a friend of mine back when I was 19, so 79. He was getting married early. I didn't think he should, and I couldn't quite tell him, so I wrote a song. I just got the feelings out in a song. And I don't think to this day he even knows that it was him.
And "Waiting for the Rain to Fall."
That was again personal, different scenario, but this was somebody very early. I think 17 or 18. I was at the time going through a breakup, and this was just on the verge of the breakup, right on the cliff's edge before that actually happened.
When you're performing, do you have an opener and closer, or does it change all the time?
It changes. It depends. A lot of it depends on how long your set is. If it's 45 minutes or if it's an hour and 45, you don't know. Um, I don't know. I'm still playing with that. I like to keep it something lively for, like Waiting for the Rain to Fall is a great closer. It does, because it's got some intensity to it. and it allows you to stretch it out a little bit. Um, I think "Don't Keep Me Waiting" is a good opener. It's up tempo, kind of bouncy, bluesy. Been finding, but I'm still experimenting with it.
I hate to ask you what someone else tonight is about.
Same thing. Same thing as "I Don't Care." And oh wow, that was like 3 o'clock in the morning one morning, and that's it. I'm done. This is it. I'm finished with this nonsense. And then you can probably hear that in the words. I will tell you an interesting story though about "So About You," the one we were talking about earlier, the one with the girl with the angel wings. That song was the only example of what we're talking about where things were turned around, where I'd actually written the chords, just like Brian Wilson said, the
Mhm.
chords, the melody, and I couldn't write the words. I just could not. I tried for a month and a half, and everything I wrote just sounded corny to me. I just didn't like it. Wasn't coming.
Hmm.
So I just happened to have gotten a book for Christmas from my aunt to do with songwriting by a man named Jimmy Webb. Do you know him?
I never heard of him, I don't think.
Up and Away, Wichita Lineman,
Yes. I didn't know his name, but yeah, I know those
Pencil on
songs.
My Mind, all these
Yeah.
beautiful songs. Um, in this book, he tears down songwriting and gives you advice. And the one thing that really stuck in this case was he suggested that if you're in that position where you have a melody and you can't come up with words, try this. Record it, sing anything you want. Doesn't matter. Just a space filler. You can hum, you can sing nonsense words, doesn't matter. Record it. Play it back, but play it back so low you really can't hear it. All you're hearing is just barely, barely, barely hearing it. It's the lowest it possibly can be without being off. He
Hmm.
said, your subconscious will fill the words in. So I tried that, and I did that with that song. I just sang nonsense, sang it in the tape recorder, played it back, and I grabbed a pen and wrote that song the way you hear it right now with I've never had to edit that. I was word for word for word, just the way it came out from my subconscious. It had no pertinence to anything that was happening in my life, but I love the words.
Hmm.
10 years after that, every word came true. I was in a scenario exactly like the person in that song.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is odd.
So you're a firm believer that words, um, that whatever words you say will come true?
I don't know about that. I know in this particular instance they did, and I found that strange.
Hmm.
Um, I think they definitely came out of my subconscious. I have no other explanation. So who knows? Psychic ability, fluke. I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting.
Hmm. How do you feel about cover songs? Like, would you ever play a cover song, or is it just has to be my songs?
No, I've spent a lifetime playing cover songs. If I'm to do a cover song from now on, though, I want it to be something that's not mainstream, something that I can take and shape, something I can put my own twist to. Funny, I was listening in the pool the other night, Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive, and it struck me he
Mhm.
did that 3 times on Frampton Comes Alive. He did the Stones, Stevie Wonder, and what was the other one? I can't think of the other one. Doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, but the times that I can recall, he changed them and he made them his own, which was really nice. It wasn't just redoing somebody else's song.
Could you take any song and Ken Armstrong it?
I don't see why not.
Okay, Toxic by Britney Spears.
Don't know it. I'm sorry. But yeah, you could for sure.
Any Taylor Swift song, maybe?
Toxic. I think if I can recall how it goes, I would make that a blues shuffle.
Mm,
Dun, 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 toxic, dun, dun, or whatever.
yeah,
I don't really know it, but
yeah, that's awesome. So, how did it feel to hear your song on the radio years after its release?
well, first time I heard my song on the radio was before this album came out, was the year before, which is kind of what sparked my finishing the album off. I was at the time driving bus for the city of Brantford, and it was like wheelchair trans, and I was sitting parked 6:30 in the morning, having a tea, listening to the radio, waiting to go pick up my first people. I'm listening to the local station on the local reserve, and I just about fell off my seat when one of my songs came on from Ranchsongs from the Cadillac Ranch album. It had been out. It was out in 1985, and I heard this 2 years ago. So they'd had it that long, and they've been playing it the whole time, and I didn't even know they had a copy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly. That was a just shocking experience. And so I love that. And I thought, okay, I can do that again. That's a lot of fun. So I put out this one and started pushing it onto radio and loved that. It's great to hear yourself on the radio.
Wow, that's impressive. That's amazing. I like that. I like stories like that. Because
Yeah.
then if people like songs, they like your songs and they want to play them.
Well, they must have been playing them for 20 years. I never had it registered, so I never got paid for it, but I mean, it's no big deal. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the love of it.
Yeah. You're mentioning, I know sometimes conversation mentioning about building your own recording studio. What was the motivation for that? Is because you don't trust the music industry that you built a recording studio because you wanted to end up starting your own record label and
I spent in the 80s, I spent $30,000, which would be the equivalent of what, 60, 90 now,
probably.
putting an album out. In 80s dollars, if you were to translate it to today, it'd be 60 to $90,000. Wasn't satisfied with it. Felt if I had more time, I could have done that. If I had been in control, I could have done that. If I was the one twisting the dials, and
Hmm.
I had learned a lot in the process. So I went and I bought myself a computer, Pro Tools, and all that. I think 2009, 2010, and started recording all these songs. But I was sitting the only room in the house that was available to me. We had bought a big house, and the only room was the base sub basement. There's no windows. It's all cement floors, cement walls, and open beams on the ceiling. Terrible, no acoustics, and it was so cold. I had a separate heater going down here. I would literally be shivering when I walked upstairs. So I knew that wasn't going to work. So my wife and I finally decided, okay, let's do this. And neither one of us had ever done much in the way of carpentry or anything like that. My dad was a carpenter, taught me how to work with wood and everything, but I'd never really applied it. Well, this time we did the whole thing from scratch, did all the studs, all the drywall and everything, and it came out beautiful. I'm sitting in it right now. Not the picture you're seeing there, but I'm literally sitting in it. It's a nice studio and sounds great. It's nice and warm. It's cool in the summer. We got all the HVAC stuff done over, and now I can take that time and I can come down here by the hour, and there's no clock ticking, and that's the main thing. So if I want to take another pass at something, no big deal.
Yeah, you mentioned about acoustics. I see that acoustics are very important to you as well. I talk to a lot of artists, and without acoustics, forget it.
Yeah. Um, and that's expensive, the deadening, and you don't want to over deaden. That's the other thing.
Hmm.
But I found a trick. I went to a place called Liquidation World, which probably doesn't even exist anymore. But I found an 8x10 rug made of leather. It's black and it's made of black leather. And I hung that on the wall, and I think that is partly responsible for the really good acoustics here. It just warms it up so nicely.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. So I'm going to ask you this question. I've asked, 'cause when you play in a venue, do you always go and search out the venue and say these? I want to these acoustics are like. Do you go hello, hello? Okay, that's fine. Let's do it.
Hear that?
Oh,
That's what you're
oh,
after.
yeah,
You're listening. I
yeah.
had I had a friend. He plays with the Jack DeKaiser band now. His name is Eric Lambier. He's blind, and if you use your ears, it's incredible what you can do. He literally walks around by snapping his finger and listening to the sound of the echo.
Really?
I can't imagine it myself, but I've seen him do it, and
Hmm.
that's taken to the extreme. But yeah, In the I can pretty much tell you the venue. I'm pretty good with EQs. I can pretty much tell you the rich spots and the weak spots. You just to EQ it in. And some places are just going to ring and ring and ring, in which case you just have to live with it. But in-ear monitors are a real godsend, and that's what most people use now. We use them. So inside your ears is what you're really hearing. If the room acoustics aren't that wonderful, you miss out on that, which is good.
Yeah, I know that I've been to a lot of diners, a lot of coffee shops where they have like a guitarist, and I don't know if some of them really don't care about acoustics because sometimes they just want to play because they want to make their money, but they're not going around wondering like this, you know. They just say, is anybody playing your Friday night? No, okay, can we? Thank you, and then they just go, even if the acoustics are bad, because I know someone like that.
Hmm. That's a shame. Well, just because you're a musician doesn't mean you're a promoter. It doesn't mean you're a sound technician. It doesn't mean you're good at recording. Maybe you're just a good songwriter. And all the other areas you're never going to be good at. Maybe you're not a good businessman and you don't get paid properly.
How do you mind me asking me how they pay you when you play in a venue? Like, how does that go? Do you get paid ahead of time, or do you sign a contract? Because what if they don't? Say, no, you were pretty good, but very average, and we're not going to pay you for that.
Yeah, you never work without a contract. I mean, unless you really, really know the person. No, we always sign contracts. I mean, I grew up American Federation of Musicians Union, and that was a must. You get fined if you don't have a contract. And
Hmm.
there's been a couple times when that's really come into play. It's been nice to have that in your back pocket. I've never not been paid, and that's important.
I think it's about time I ask you this question, Ken.
Mhm.
What do you think of AI in music? Suno, Udio, all those.
I think it sounds terrible.
Oh,
I mean, I don't like their words. If it's AI generated words, I find them so laughable. I really do. The music just sounds sterile, predictable. Not a fan.
hmm.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, there's a Crystal Delgado who's a music lawyer. She's also a artist as well,
Hmm.
and she found out, well, with Udio and Suno, which are AI music apps and software, that apparently it steals music from others, so you can literally get sued for getting AI generated music to write you a song. So now they're fingerprinting songs now. So when you produce a song from Suno, you have to fingerprint it so nobody can steal it. I don't know how that's going to work.
I have not heard of any of this, so I really can't comment. I don't know, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Uh,
I
so
think that things have gotten so simplistic when it comes to songs. You know how many songs there are follow the same four chord progression? I saw a video on this one time, and there's like 500, 600 songs they just go through. They're all in the same chord progression, and apparently the latest thing is to have almost monochromatic as far as the melody goes, all within one or two notes of each other, never any variance. The songs I like one of my favorite songs is Wichita Lineman, which if you actually study that from a theoretical point of view, it's doing some incredible things, and you can't even firmly establish what key that's written in. And that goes the same thing for Wouldn't It Be Nice? Or not Wouldn't It Be Nice? God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
mhm.
You tear that apart theory wise, there's no way. And that's what I love. I mean, I love surprises in the music. It's got to go somewhere where I can't just tell where it's going to go. With AI, I can tell. You just know the next chord change.
Well, whether you use AI generated music and create your own songs, you write your own lyrics when it comes out beautiful. What's the difference between that and someone like Dua Lipa, who's the song called "Levitating"? And if you take that song, there's 4 or 5 different artists who use that same chord progression and that melody. It sounds alike. There's this guy that actually he has a YouTube video and he shows you the song and then 3 or 4 others beside it. It's the same melody. How did
Mhm.
they get away with that?
I don't know, maybe the same record company. Maybe they have the same agent. No, I don't know. I don't know the specifics on that, but seems odd to me because somebody should be suing somebody. You remember what happened to George Harrison way back when? Or even funnier than that is the copyright infringement that they tried to lay on John Fogerty
Oh, I heard about that.
for sounding too much like Creedence Clearwater Revival.
But he was Creedence Clearwater Revival.
He wrote all the songs in both cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, come on, you write a song, it's my song. Why do
Yeah.
you have to sue me? Because it sounds like your song. And all
Yep.
these, oh, he stole the song. And then they spent all this money for the court case before they say, nope, that song and that song are two different songs. Okay, but you spent a lot of money on this. You're broke.
Well, then there was that one with oh heavens, I can't remember. It doesn't matter anyways. Marvin Gaye and oh, I can't remember the guy's name.
Mhm.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm having a senior's moment here. I'm blanking out.
Well, same here. Um, you had a 3 album set. Can you describe the process of that and dealing with your mental health and everything that went on with that?
What do you mean? I'm sorry. Like I've written 3 albums and recorded 3 albums. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was that like for
That's
you?
basically those songs have been in the can. My earliest one was 74. They've been in since then. Never, and some of them been recorded as country songs, but they're
Hmm.
not anymore. Um, this is kind of the compilation of my life's history of writing. There's about 30
Mm.
songs, and those are the ones I felt were good enough to warrant recording. And so when I followed the steps, built the studio, I the thing that stopped everything was not knowing how to mix. Mixing is the toughest thing that I do, and still to this day, it's still the toughest thing I do.
Wow.
I had to teach myself how to do it. So the songs, recording, that was easy. Arranging, no problem. Mixing, horrendously difficult. So everything waited until I learned how to mix. And even then, my first album is nowhere near as good as the quality on the next one already because you learn from your mistakes.
How do you deal with your mental health?
I really don't have any issues I'm aware of. I think you exercise a lot of demons with your lyrics.
No, I mean everyone has to deal with their mental health, even if there's nothing wrong with it. But um, it's good to do. Just take a walk, maybe you do that, or something non musical, or is it all
Well,
music for you?
no, no, no. There's other issues as well. I I like playing online cards.
Mm.
You know, I like going to sports. I'm big on sports. I watch a lot of sports. This is the Brantford Bulldogs, by the way. I wore that just to advertise for them. But yeah, I don't. I'm in a happy marriage for the first time in my life, and I've been there solidly for 10 years. And my goodness, what a difference that makes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, she's a. That's an interesting story too. How I met her, but yeah, there's. I don't know. Yeah, I think it all boils down to your belief system too. Um, I believe that there's a higher power, and I believe that in such things as karma and life plans and all sorts of things, and you try not to get in the way of yours and try to learn what you can while you're here.
I respect that, Ken. I'm a Christian myself, and I believe that God and Jesus is the same. And I have a high respect for the Bible. I read it and I understand it as an instruction manual for your life. Um, but yeah, I totally respect what you said. And to be in a happy marriage family, wow. So when you have festival performances, how do you prepare for them?
You don't really. You just try to keep a upbeat, happy, fun. You get your sleep. That's a biggie. Make sure you don't eat before the performance. I can never eat before I sing. And I don't get stage fright anymore. I mean, I might have in front of 400,000 people, but I've been in front of 10,000 a few times, and I just love it.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. The bigger the moment, the better.
So you're actually pretty confident to stand in front of all those and even make mistakes. You're still enjoying it.
Oh, if you make a mistake, you got to make a joke about it. I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you faced any challenges in self promotion?
Not having a clue how to do it for starters. I don't know. I have a wonderful fella working for me. Actually, I have two now, but the one guy, Eric Alper, is just great. I don't know if you're aware of Eric.
I know Eric Alper. Yeah, he sends me a whole bunch of talent actually, and yeah, he's an amazing guy because him and I knew a yeah, I know Eric Alper. He's a good guy.
Yeah. No, he's my publicist, and then of course you know Caden as well, right? So Caden,
Yeah,
I just
Caden
brought him on
Gordon. Yeah,
recently. Yeah, and he's been getting me a lot of radio stations and then podcasts and stuff. So between the two of them, they're keeping me pretty busy. And then I spend a lot of time self promoting and find a lot of things for myself as well. I'm constantly surprising them. Like I got myself on the CICC, which was a shock. I got myself into the ISSA as well. I don't know if you're aware of what those are. Now,
Mm.
CICC is Canadian Independent Country Countdown. It's
Okay.
kind of a big deal. I put I don't care on that, and it made it up to 18 in Canada. That's as far as it charted. But once you hit top 30, you are on their radio broadcast. Well, the whole time you're in the top 30 and climbing, and that's like over 100,000 listeners per show. And someone else tonight, my second song, that made it up as far as number 9 in Canada. So that was kind of a big deal. And then the ISSA is the International Singer Songwriter Association, which is
Hmm.
worldwide. And I'm right now up for International Male Album of the Year for Finely Crafted and International Male Single of the Year for I Don't Care. And those haven't happened yet. They're going to be announced in Georgia in August, the end of August.
Did you go to one last year in Atlanta?
No, no, this is my first year with them. A friend pushed me this direction. Of course, that opened a lot of doors too.
Well, there's a shout out to Caden Gordon and Eric Alper, two of the best. Caden, you get under his wing, and he'll do everything he can to promote you and boost you. He's very young too. He's like what, 19 or something,
I
20.
know, full of beans, that guy, but
Yeah,
he's doing well.
yeah, he's really good. I'm so happy for you. So, how do you balance your various roles in music production?
Ah, they don't seem to get in each other's way. I try to. I'm retired, so this is a hobby for me, and I'm
Hmm.
filling up my days quite nicely. I spend an hour or two a day promoting. I spend an hour or two a day mixing, and I spend an hour or two a day swimming. There's my day.
Do you mind me asking what you did for a living before you retired?
Yeah, I was. I said a bus driver for the city
Right.
of Brantford. Yeah, I was driving wheelchair trans, and I actually was playing music up until 2010, I guess, almost exclusively. I also had a quite a while where about 10 years where I sang in old folks' homes. I just did as a single. I went in and I entertained. Loved that. It was a lot of fun, but COVID kind of put the kibosh on that.
That's kudos to you, my friend. So, what are your future plans and projects?
Oh, I got another album coming out as soon as I'm done mixing it. I'm being fastidious about it, so it's a little behind schedule. I'm hoping to have it out for September 11. Um, More touring, more promotion. I've saved the best for last. The third album I'm hoping to have out the following year, and we're going to see what happens. My goal is to get the next one on CBC Radio and Sirius XM, and I think that's achievable.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So glad that you have Caden in your Gordon.
yeah.
Caden in you. Sorry, let's do it. I'm so happy you have Caden Gordon in your corner. My goodness, what happened there? Um, yes. So, what kind of advice would you give to an aspiring musician who wants to be like you?
Um, that's pretty easy. Keep it a hobby. If you can make money off it, wonderful, but don't count on making money on it. It's gotten to be very difficult. Time was, and I know it sounds old to say this, but it wasn't that long ago, 15, 20 years ago, you could make a decent living, and I did. I was making some really good money just playing bars if you're a good businessman.
Hmm.
Um, You cannot now. There's no way you can live off this. I mean, it's a pretty substandard living if you do manage to do it.
Yeah.
But it's if you do it as a hobby or a sideline, maybe just a second income or whatever, great. You know, it can really enhance your life and be a wonderful thing.
Are you familiar with who Tom McDonald is? Because he does everything for himself. He had his CDs and albums, and he signs them. He sends them out to fans, and the record companies don't like him because they're not getting a piece of the pie, right? So
I'm
he's one
not
of the
familiar with him, but I'd like to be. He sounds like my kind of guy.
check
Like,
him
yeah,
out, Tom McDonald. And he does live streams, and he talks about yeah, he was audited by I think he was going to be number one song in the magazine, or and they asked him like I don't know if you ever heard of them auditing a musician
you
because
mean
they want to know
Revenue
how you're
Canada?
doing it. It's like how are you doing this? Yeah, he's Canadian. How are you doing this and making all this money, but you don't have producers, directors, all these people who are supposed to get part of the money? How are you doing all this on your? And it's like, excuse me. And what they want to do with independent artists right now, and how they're buying up all the companies or like BMG or whatever are buying up all the indie artists, whatever. It's like they're saying no more of those. I'm like, what?
Hmm.
Why? Because you're not getting part of the money. Money belongs to us. We made the song. Why do I have to write a song and I only get 2%, or not even that, and your guys are getting like 50%, 60%, and I'm not like, you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
I do. I've heard tell that the record companies are signing people just so that they can keep them from being exposed like that and being any kind of problem and keep them from starting something that's going to damage their roster. And at the same time, they're taking them as a tax write-off. They know they're going to lose money on that artist because they don't want to push that artist. They're just going to give them a signing bonus and they're going to give them a, um, recording budget, and then they're just going to write that money off. So there's win-win for them and lose-lose for the artist.
that's why Sabrina Carpenter and all those new ones are getting like Teddy Swims as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's why they're pushing them. Oh wow, okay, that opens my eyes. Well, thank you, Ken. This was a very wonderful interview. Thank you so much for your patience and for at least we got you on the platform. We're able to have a conversation with you, and I have your number too. And we could probably, hopefully, when you get those albums released, we can have you on again.
Sounds great. I'm more than welcome. You just send me an email and I'll be here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, everyone. Ken Armstrong. Um, we're going to end the stream, and also everything will be linked down below. All his music, all his songs, and everything. And give him a like, love, and share his music.
Um, Website has all the links that you need. It's www.caseyarmstrong444.com.
Yeah,
Very easy
we
to
have
find.
that. So we'll include that in description. Thank you, Ken. Okay, wait right there. Okay, everyone. See you, Ken.
Take care.